Hey, what's up amigos? Welcome back to another video. Just got off of work, and oh yeah, please do excuse the poor quality of my cell phone camera. I don't have my regular cameras with me, but anyway, I'm on my way down to Scooters right now. I'm going to pick up some parts for the Shovelhead, namely a front sprocket and a rear sprocket, and also talk to Mark a little bit, no doubt, because it's after hours and Mark lives at the shop, so he's probably going to show me what he did with the gas tank and the fenders for the Tramp. So without any further ado, and blah 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 blah, you know how the drill goes. I will see you guys down there at Scooters, all right?
Come into my den.
Okay, we're here at Mark's domain, and there's the gas tank, there's the fender. In fact, it kind of looks like something I wouldn't have done, meaning it's very professionally done. Because you guys know this guy, he's the one that made my fender look like nothing ever happened to it on the Softail, which I'm going to leave that link to that video right there in case you never saw it. Anyway, man, that's just something else. I like that.
Doesn't have any excess holes in the fender anymore.
Yeah, it looks like it's not my fender. Oh, check that out.
The whole smooth.
Professionally done. Anyway, I'll see you guys at the house, all right?
Spin 50 RPM, which is perfect for doing this.
Okay, amigos, I said I'll see you at the house. This is actually several days later, and this sprocket that I picked up from Kenny's, actually it's not Kenny's fault. Every time you buy an old motorcycle, it's just like buying a chopper sometimes. There's not one shovelhead out there, or pan, or knuckle that's not been molested in some kind of way. I've got the right sprocket for it, but somebody put a fat boy back wheel on the back, which means the boss on that wheel is too big for the idea of that sprocket. That's the correct sprocket for a 1979 FXS. So what we're going to do is, well, this is John right here.
How are you?
John's a good friend of mine, known him for, what, good 20 years or more now?
Oh, more than that.
Ever since I was a teenager, you know? We played music together, we've actually worked together before, and John's a little bit of a machinist. Actually, not a little bit. He's a master machinist. He's got the equipment, and the shop where I work at, most of their stuff's broke. So, at least the stuff I was going to use. So, John's going to use his expertise to, you know, open this hole up so that we can make this thing work.
Hope you didn't get that.
I did.
Edit it out, man. That's embarrassing, dude. Now, you see the chrome that's on here. And it looks like pretty heavy chrome. It's liable to trash my tool as soon as I touch it.
Well, let's hope that don't happen.
Oh, no, it cut it. That's nice.
So about how much is that coming off right now?
I think I'm taking about 50 thousandths out of the board.
50 thousandths a side?
No, off the diameter.
Off the
25
diameter?
a side. That's just eyeball. I had 200 to go, so.
I said I wasn't going to do any chopping on this shovelhead, but I suppose this is probably as close as it's going to get.
Why, yes. We are at 2 inches, 192.
So we got about 15 thousandths to go. Huh?
Yeah, about
15,
that.
about 15 thousandths. A little bit of machinist talk, you know, like you move the tool 7.5 thousandths, that's 7.5 thousandths per side. And overall, you're taking out 15 thousandths out of the entire hole as far as the diameter. I did say that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. You should be right.
There should be the final pass. I hope I'm right. We'll also have to get a new QC guy on my job.
That's right. You are QC. Yes, we are in the close ballpark. Yes, we are. I got 8 thousandths over 2.2.
Which actually happens to be the exact diameter of what that sprocket is right there. Which that's the sprocket that came off the bike, so.
Another high quality product out of the shop on Landon.
I guess we'll see each other back at the garage, and who knows what's going to happen in there with that shovel. Hopefully we'll get it together, and sometime right at this weekend. I don't know. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. We'll see what happens on the next scene. Okay, amigos. Another several days later, and I'm back at the house, or in the garage, and check it out. We got the gold chain on here, as you can see, and I really like how that looks. and I think it really blends well with some of the accents on this bike. For example, there's a little bit of a bronze color to this Harley logo, and also the logo that's on the tank. I also got a sissy bar on here, and it's got the Willie G skull in here that's bronze. I'm not really much into skulls. I always thought they were kind of cliche. I still think that, but that really doesn't look bad on this bike. So that's pretty cool. And I know I didn't film it, but I've got the inner primary on. I've got the starter shaft in here. I got the starter back on the other side. Solenoids hooked up. Got my linkages hooked up here for the mid controls, and they seem to work out okay. Anyway, you guys saw in my community that I posted about this belt breaking like it did. And, well, let me come clean. I was doing something that I wasn't supposed to be doing, and that's why this belt broke. It's not really just because it's a belt, but, well, let me explain what I was doing. As I was installing the clutch hub and the belt and everything, I was torquing down my engine sprocket nut. And the way I normally do that, which I've done this 1,000 times on chain primaries, and I always get away with it. This is a piece of an old worn out final drive belt off of a twin cam, and so this works great. One end goes into the motor sprocket, the other end goes into the clutch basket, and they just kind of play tug of war on this thing. Well, I tried that on a belt drive, and this got up underneath between the motor sprocket and the belt, and it did this number right here when I was trying to torque on it. And this happened before I reached my torque. So I know not to do that again. But anyway, I went looking online for a belt, the right kind of belt that is, and I found one from Dennis Kirk. It's a BDL brand, and I figured, well, if I'm going to buy one, why not buy two? In case I break this one putting it together, or just to have an extra one, who knows. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't put this back together. I never messed with a two-piece clutch basket before, so I hope I can put this together without the bearings falling all out of the place, because when I pulled my clutch basket off, I thought, oh, okay, this is going to be easy. A bunch of roller bearings came falling out. And so anyway, I got all that put back together. So I don't know, this is going to be interesting. So at least to me, you guys get to watch me do something I'm not used to. I didn't grow up with shovel heads. You know, I'm used to twin cams, I'm used to Evos, and even iron heads to some extent. So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Let's see what happens. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention that I've learned, that these shovel heads, when you work on them, it's much more involving, you know. For example, like, you know, compared to an Evo, I mean, Evos, everything's just committed. This here has got two tapered shafts. But mainly what I'm talking about is this tapered shaft on the main shaft. It's got a Woodruff key. You know, an Evo just got a spline shaft, and stuff just comes off and goes right back on with no problem. So the trick is try to get this on there without knocking that Woodruff key out of place. So it's really easy to do. So here goes nothing. And just like I thought was going to happen, I knocked it out of place. Okay, in case some of you new timers don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I mean. This is the Woodruff key, and it just shifted forward as I tried to put the hub on. Apparently I clipped the top of it. Anyway, gotta try to get this back in that groove and go for round 2, and hopefully there's no round 3. There probably will be, or round 4 or 5, until it just goes on. So here we go again. Round 3. And again. Okay, to save on memory on this camera, I guess you guys get the idea. You gotta fight with it a little bit. That is, unless you're not me. Some of you old school guys probably know a better trick. So I'm just going to turn the camera off right now, and I'm going to fight with this, and then I'll show you what I've done after it's all over with. Okay, you know that deal, you know, you guys who have been around since Kickstarters and stuff like that, you know, and there's that guy who has the Kickstart motorcycle. In fact, a lot of you probably had Kickstart bikes who were watching this, and as long as there was a crowd watching you trying to leave, that bike wouldn't start. Well, that is if you didn't know the bike that well. So wouldn't you know it that when I turned the camera off, I got the thing on right immediately. So maybe I'll show you how I did it, but I'm not gonna pull the hub back off though. Okay, I remembered that this is a tapered shaft. I kind of forgot, and the ID is tapered. So what I did is that I held onto this thing and I kind of held it up a little bit and kind of tilted back, and I made sure that the key was, or at least the keyway in the hub was center with the shaft, and it just went right on with no problem. So I guess that's just all part of it, you know. You have to have a little bit of a feel, I suppose, not like on an Evo where the parts just say, oh yeah, sure, I'll go right back on. And they jump right back on the motorcycle and they say, go ahead and butt me up, put the bolts in, I'm ready to go. These here are like, it's, I don't know. I hate to be kind of crude, but it's kind of like, you know, some women like to be touched a certain way, and I guess this bike must be a female. I don't know. Maybe all the mole bikes were females. Okay, a little trick I learned, and I saw this on, I think it was Lead Sled's YouTube channel. This is my pressure plate, and when I pulled the thing off, I used this little piece right here to keep the springs compressed because, you know, I didn't feel like putting springs back together, and you shovelhead guys know what I'm talking about. But this piece here is a chain adjuster plate, that is. It came off of the back side of a swing arm of a Sportster, which I happen to have had one of those. So that's what I got holding this thing together. So I wonder if I can get it back together the same way it came apart. Okay, well, it's together, and one thing I did forget to do, there's a little keeper on the nut on the clutch hub that I forgot to bend one of the tabs, but I'll go back in there later and do that. I just want to see if this thing's going to start, or at least the starter turn over. Here goes nothing, and the battery's charged, got been topped off, you know, that kind of stuff. So if I remember right, sequence is turn on the gas. Yeah. Imagine that. Give it a couple squirts. Turn the ignition on. Enrichener. Let's see what happens. Well, I haven't warmed it up, so that's why. Anyway, I'm just goofing, trying to see the feel of the mid-control shifter, and but it works, and it's pretty smoky in here. Anyway, guys. Okay, I guess this about concludes it, and I don't know why, for some reason, my camera lens got a little fogged on the inside. I don't know why that is, but yeah, and sorry for such a while for this video to come out. I just wanted to update you guys on, you know, the Shovelhead, and hopefully by the time you see another video from me, it'll be about the Tramp over here. As you saw in my community, the paint is coming along, and I don't know what else to tell you or say other than you guys keep the rubber side down and just be good to yourselves. Thanks a lot. All right.